Girl let a biker use her phone to call help, and 100 Hells Angels never forgot her kindness. The alley behind Bakersfield's rusted grocery store wasn't a place for children, but for 9-year-old Victoria Brennan, it was just a shortcut home, a path she walked every day since her father left and her mother started working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. That Tuesday afternoon, the wind carried more than dust. It carried the metallic scent of blood. And there he was, a mountain of a man slumped against cracked brick, his leather vest emblazoned with a winged skull soaked crimson. His face was a mask of pain, one eye swollen shut, knuckles raw and bleeding. Victoria froze. She'd heard the whispers, "Hell's Angels, dangerous, stay away." Her small hand tightened around her phone, the cheap, cracked screen lifeline her mother had saved for months to buy. The man's good eye opened, not with menace, but with exhaustion. "Kid, you shouldn't be here," he rasped. Victoria's heart hammered against her ribs. Every instinct screamed, "Run!" But then she saw it. Not a monster, but a man, trembling, fading, just like her father had faded from their lives, just like hope had faded from their apartment. Swallowing her fear, she stepped forward. "Here," she whispered, pressing her phone into his blood-streaked hand. "You call your brothers." He stared at her, this tiny girl with scuffed shoes and courage too big for her frame. With shaking fingers, he dialed. "Take. Alley behind Garcias. I'm hit bad." He tried to hand the phone back. "Go home, little one. Now." But Victoria didn't move. She knelt beside him, ignoring the grime on her knees. "I'm staying," she said, her voice firmer than she felt. "You shouldn't be alone." 10 minutes later, the roar began. Not one engine, but dozens. A tidal wave of chrome and leather flooded the alley. Men with beards and tattoos and eyes hardened by decades of road life surrounded them. Their president, Tank, a bear of a man with a voice like gravel, dropped to his knees beside his fallen brother. Then he saw Victoria, small, unflinching, still holding Reaper's hand. Tank's voice broke. You stayed with him?" Victoria nodded. Tank pulled a wad of cash from his pocket, hundreds of dollars. "Take this, please." She shook her head. "I didn't help for money. I helped because he needed help." In that moment, something shifted in the alley, in them. Tank looked at his brothers, his eyes glistening. "We never forget this," he vowed, his voice echoing off the bricks. "Never." What happened next transformed not just Victoria's life, but an entire neighborhood. The Angels didn't arrive with fanfare, they came quietly. A man named Sledge began walking Victoria to school each morning, his presence alone enough to silence the taunts of bullies. Another angel, Doc, fixed the flickering porch light outside her building, then repaired every broken bulb on the block. When Victoria's mother tearfully explained she couldn't pay the $87 grocery tab, the store owner simply smiled. "Already taken care of, ma'am, by your friends." Fear melted into trust, suspicion into gratitude. Victoria blossomed. She raised her hand in class. She defended a new girl named Kelsey from playground cruelty, only to find 2 angels coincidentally polishing their bikes nearby the next day. Her teachers noticed the change. A girl who once shrank into silence now carried herself with quiet strength, her empathy contagious. On her 10th birthday, Tank arrived at her doorstep in a clean white shirt beneath his vest. "The clubhouse is waiting," he said gently. What Victoria saw stole her breath. Streamers, a cake with her name, dozens of rough men standing awkwardly beside handmade gifts, a restored bicycle, books about brave girls, a locket engraved with wings. Tank knelt before her, his voice thick. "Family ain't always blood, Victoria. Sometimes it's who shows up when you're bleeding in an alley, who stays. You stayed for us, so we stay for you. Always." Years later, Bakersfield's old-timers would speak of the angel effect, how crime dropped 40% in Victoria's district, how neighbors began watching each other's children, how broken fences were mysteriously repaired overnight. The angels, once feared, became fixtures at school fundraisers and soup kitchens.
They hadn't just protected one girl, they'd rediscovered their own humanity through her. And Victoria? She never asked for protection. She only offered a phone, a moment, a choice. But kindness is never just a moment. It's a spark, and in the right heart, it becomes a wildfire of change, warming homes, mending streets, and reminding even the hardest souls that redemption isn't earned through strength alone, but through the courage to be gentle when the world expects you to be hard. Victoria Brennan taught a brotherhood of outlaws that the fiercest power isn't in a fist, but in a hand held out to someone bleeding in the dark. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us share more stories of hope, healing, and second chances with millions around the world who need them most. And in the comments below, tell us where you're watching from today. Let's fill this space with light, one kindness at a time. Because the world changes not when heroes arrive, but when ordinary people choose to stay. Thanks for watching.